hooker with a heart of gold, prairie nymphs, soiled doves, sporting women, whores.
Prairie nymphs is very cute.
You're listening to The Oldest Profession. My name is Kaytlin Bailey. I worked as an hourly escort when I was in high school for no good goddamn reason. I was just super curious. And then when I needed money for the first time, I got into sugaring because I'm not stupid.
I'm Wendi Starling. I started selling my panties on the internet when I was 34. Then from there, made the very smart leap to sugaring at the ripe old age of close to 35. So I do that to help support comedy.
So every week on The Oldest Profession, I am going to tell a story about an old hoe that came before us because it's the oldest profession, so it's got to have a history, right? And all these bitches have really cool stories. So I'll be telling a story from a sex worker, whore, lady of the night, woman of ill repute, whatever you want to fucking call it, that came before us.
And you are listening to The Oldest Profession.
To The Oldest Profession.
You got to keep things spicy.
What's finger licking good? I mean, come on. Obviously, The Oldest Profession
has a history.
Happy Valentine's Day, Wendi.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, Kaytlin. How are you?
I'm good. Cleaning up like an old pro. So,
are you good?
Yeah.
I bought myself a cookie with someone else's money. No, I mean, even though people are giving you money, sometimes it's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. You earned that.
It's not like I robbed somebody and bought a cookie with it.
No. It's not like you stole someone's credit card. They gave it to you. That's called earning it.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Just like your dog earns its food by being adorable. Well, I got a decapitated stuffed bat head.
I'm sorry, what?
From a fan.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Sure.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm being serious. Absolutely.
Fuck you. I've
got pictures of it and everything. I'll show you. A fan who I actually adore and find very, very charming sent me an I know sexy when I see it card.
Cool.
And then along with that, a decapitated bat head from a stuffed animal. If it had been a real, like a bloody bat head, I think I would have been freaked out.
I thought it was like a real bat head. I'm like, are you sure that's a secret admirer or just a cat?
It's from no. Yeah, like a cat mailed me. They don't know how to use the post office. Wendi, be serious.
Some might.
So yeah, no. I mean, if it had been a real bat head, I definitely would have called the authorities. But a stuffed bat head is charmingly creepy.
Well, but to know what does that have like significance to you? Do you have a joke about killing animals?
I messaged him and I was like, "Thanks for the severed bat head, I think." And he was like, "Oh, you don't remember? Apparently, we had an inside joke like over a year ago. If you scroll up in our like DMs, because like if you're a fan and you DM me, I'll DM you back if I've had literally anything to drink. So like, I mean, I'm real open and I don't have a lot of friends. So
I'll do it when I'm sober.
I'm willing to chat you up. But
I'll give you a car ride.
He asked for my address for some reason, and I was like, "Why do you want it?" And he's like, "I want to send you a card." And I was like, "Okay."
That seems like a bad move, and I love you, and I'm just going to tell you right now.
It's hard for me to feel possessive about my address running an Airbnb. Like, I have strangers in and out of here all the fucking time.
Even more reason, not to sound like your mother, but even more reason for you to, because and we love you all, and I'm sure the bat head guy is cool.
No, I'm so rapeable. I get it. I understand.
And Karen came out. We love, everyone listens.
We got great postcards. She gave me a fucking book. She gave me Women Who Run with the Wolves, which is literally a book of powerful spells for women.
Oh.
It's story. It's fucking, and I'm a third of the way through it, and it's fucking amazing. This is a gift from Karen.
Dude.
We're going to start telling these stories on the podcast. Everyone should have this ancient knowledge.
And are there spells that we can cast in there?
Yes. But they're fairy tales and how they apply to real life. So it's like a way of seeing the world through ancient storytelling that's just like true about people. So it's not like 2 garlics and a bat head and like it's a love potion, but it's like, here's how love actually works, you dumb cunt, and it's fucking great.
You're right. So it's 2 garlics and a stuffed bat head.
It's 2 garlics and a stuffed bat head. That's your love spell.
Everyone's working together. That's a crazy. Oh my God, I got to do that. I got to learn how to read spells.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just storytelling. Stand-up's a spell. So is sex work. Sex work is making money for free.
Yes.
And storytelling, especially comedy, is making people laugh, which is an involuntary physiological response.
When we're bullshitting you.
Yeah.
This is I like just out of the gate 3 minutes in and we're like, okay, everything that we do that people enjoy, everything's witchcraft and bullshit. And we're all just so, but hey, if you're good at it, right?
Yeah,
I love a movie. It's why I love music. You think musicians are really that sad? Not all the time. Maybe
they're
sometimes.
fucking spellcasters. Mm-hmm. All artists are. It's great.
Bartenders, baristas.
Yep.
Think about it. Anytime
hospitality.
People when you're in the changing rooms. I have to go pick out bathing suits in like the next couple weeks, which is why I'm gonna throw up this cookie for everybody.
Like a real lady.
I'm doing squats right now. I was like, no chair for me, Kaytlin, but I will be in the seated position. I have to go buy bathing suits because like I'm going to Turks and Caicos, baby.
That's fucking amazing. You're gonna have so much fun.
Or I should say I womanifested this sick vacation. It's crazy.
How did you do that?
I think we all know the answer to that. Good
Was it two garlics
pussy.
and a bat head?
Yeah, it was 2 garlics and a bat head. I shoved them inside of my pussy.
That doesn't cure anything, by the way. That's an old wives' tale,
Yeah,
not an old pro trick.
He's like, Jesus Christ, we get that out of there? And I'm like, maybe if you take me somewhere warm. That sounds like a good way to kill a Dracula, actually.
Yeah. It does keep the vampires away,
Yeah.
but not the alcoholics, which are emotional vampires.
Aw.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's a double because it's like, I killed your brother when he was in bat form. I like it.
I don't know how to start.
I know. So I'm going on this vacation and I'm excited. And at first I'm like, I want to go because my ex sugar daddy, who is, and I really, and we're friends and I try to be cool. But I follow his new girlfriends, like one of her friends. We follow each other on Instagram, and
that's so dangerous.
And I don't know why. And I'm not an Instagram stalker. It's just not something that I think about. And then I did it. Like her friend's thing came up, and it's in his house, and I just had this flashback, and I was like, oh, I miss him. And then I just clicked on her. Her name was just in the description, so I'm like, well, I'm not really digging. It's just on the same page.
It's just
And then I clicked over and I saw that they were in Turks and Caicos together, and I feel like a stalker, but I think everybody does this kind of shit. And part of me was like, oh, that's good. And I'm glad he's happy and he found someone, that he like wants to build a life with. And that's great. And she's very cool. And I met her. But a part of you goes like, oh,
yeah, you're allowed to want things.
I wish that was me.
Yeah.
I'm not special enough. And then the bracelet guy, who is not a client, who I just met out, we were talking and I didn't even bring it up. He texted me. I was like, would you be able to get away for 4 days and go somewhere with someone that adores you?
Aw.
Yeah, and then I just lied. And
Twist my arm.
Yeah, and then I fully lied, and I was like, look, my girlfriends just got back from Turks and Caicos.
That's not a lie. It's your frenemy. Like,
right.
Yeah.
It's a girl that I know.
Right, yeah, a girl that you're aware of. Who gives a shit?
Right? And so then he just like booked, and dude, I'm really trying to, and I had to re-listen to the Yoshiwara episode. Thank God I was listening to that while I was going through this thing with Bracelet Guy, because it's so easy for you and I, and even anyone, but to sit and talk about something from far away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The floating city from thousands of years ago, we get it.
Right.
But knowing that we're worth it in our own lives, knowing that we deserve that, knowing that we're channeling the goddess, knowing that what we're selling is actually worth real value,
right,
is a different inner psyche hurdle you gotta just get over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, in the last episode, like having the mental fortitude, and not only, look, as comedians and whores, we're not just tricking everyone else. You also are tricking yourself, because we talked about it in the last episode. So go back. It was real great. And then come back and listen to this. So you'll be caught up.
Yeah. Once you become an old pro, you have to black out every time you shit. You can't be laying those memory tracks down.
Right.
That's like not,
that's
not for you.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. And so I had to really, when I looked at the cost of the resort, I mean, the cheapest place is like $1,800 a month, the cheapest pavilion.
A night.
A night.
Not a month. I was like, $1,800 a month, that's rent in New York.
Oh,
that's reasonable.
I meant a night, because in my mind I'm like, oh my God, that would be my own 1-bedroom on the Upper East Side. Yes. So when I looked at the place,
rent a night.
I had to even that. I mean, I just found out a couple 4 or 5 days ago. So I have to be like, oh, this looks great. And I started to shake. I'm like, this vacation is going to cost what the most money I've ever made annually.
Yeah.
This is going to be between 25 and 30 grand. Once everything's done, said and done. And it's like,
pick out a cute scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to go find a bathing suit. And you want to talk about liars. These bitches, I already know what's coming, where you go in and nothing fits. And they're like, no, you look great. And you're like, fuck off. I already know. That's the point of that. I was a little bit bragging about my vacation.
Which is great. But happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
You deserve it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got flowers. That was a surprise. I thought it was going to be someone with a gun. But it was Bracelet Guy. It was Turks and Caicos.
He
loves
you. He sees you.
Yeah.
He wants to hold on to you.
I know.
Your precious energy.
Well, he might be a vampire trying to suck the life. He is 69.
He's a man. Yeah.
His compliment to me is always just like, you're very warm. And I'm like, well,
I love your young blood.
Right. Oh, you know what? Actually, can I borrow that bat's head? I'm gonna actually, I know we're joking, but I'm gonna really do the garlic trick.
Yeah, garlic stuff, when you can get that stuffed bat head up there, you sure could be safe for weeks.
Yeah. Come to think of it, I don't know that I've ever seen his reflection. I'm going to get back to you guys on this. I'm going to get back to you on this.
Speaking of vampires, Trey is cooking me dinner tonight.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
Yummy.
It's
what are you
gonna be
having?
good.
Did you get to pick?
I did get we're having oysters, steak, and salad.
Ooh, yummy.
And no alcohol.
Nice.
Which is also a gift to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So now with the booze thing, so now are you not drinking also with him? Or?
I don't drink when I'm with him.
Right.
But I drink alone still. No, I'm kidding. I drink
right.
No,
but I drink in the morning.
In the morning.
As soon as he leaves for work.
Every morning. Yeah. No. He's the one with a problem. No. It's sometimes I still drink when I'm out, but it's I don't know, it's not that fun. He had an incident which like it was fucked up because like I really wanted my upsetness and my disappointment in that he was drinking again was kind of overshadowed by my pure I told you so glee. Like I was so happy to be validated because like I was like, you have a drinking problem. And he was like, I agree. I shall simply stop drinking. And I was like, that is admirable of you. But the thing about having a drinking problem is that you don't get to just make choices like that. And he was like, bollocks, I say. I am in control. I am so smart. And I'm like, no. Alcoholism hijacks your brain and uses your smarts against you. You're only better at rationalizing than you realize. I predict a drinking incident that somehow gets out of control. And when that happens, you're not going to know what happened. And I'm telling you right now, I know what happened. And so when it happened, I was like, nah, I told you so, ba-da. And so he's
in the hospital
right,
simultaneously. He's in the hospital with alcohol poisoning and simultaneously being arrested for committing a crime. And you're
I'm
like,
just like, nah.
ha, ha, ha. When you get out, I want oysters.
Yeah.
No carbs.
No, but I mean, I did what I told him I would do, which is like, I'm not your mom. I'm not your patrol officer. Like, if you want to choose to drink, you can do that. I'm going to choose not to be around you when you're like that.
Right.
So I just, packed up my shit, came here. He doesn't have a key to my apartment anymore. So like, I'm fine. I had a great night. I played gin. I got into this great book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And he's going to start taking more proactive steps, but I know that like recovery is a process and it's like 2 steps forward, 1 or 2 or 3 or 6 steps back. And like it's a journey only he can walk, and I think my job is to like protect myself from the fallout of that and like set boundaries and keep them. But like I think we had another moment of clarity where he's like, oh, this isn't just something I can white knuckle through, which is really great.
Yeah. And I've even had that, like, and it was last week, and I will go through phases where I'm fine. But then it's when times of stress, and then you get cocky, and then you're like, oh, it's fine. And then you go, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get some work done. And it's my friend's bar. He runs it. It's a weeknight. It's 8:00. It's not like I'm showing up at 11, have a glass of wine. And then he's like, I'm closing the bar, and he starts pouring shots. But when you've got that thing, that addictive thing, 1 glass of wine turns into 3 or 4.
And then after 3, it's over.
Yep. And then
the disease is making all the choices after that.
Yep.
And it just wants more.
Yep. And it wants more. And then some assholes got drugs.
Yep.
And a lot of sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, and someone's like, hey, and you're like, oh yeah, well fucking here, and your friend's running the bar, and they're like, they're covering half your drinks, and so you're like, oh here's
These
some
are
cash.
Free. How can you walk away from free alcohol? It's free.
Yeah, and then your brain, it's just so fucked because your brain goes, you're like, oh my god, it's only 11:00. This is great. I'm like,
yeah, it's so early.
Normally I walk in here at 11 and start drinking, but now I'm a bottle of wine in, so yeah, let's get some fucking drugs. I'll be in bed by 1. Will you?
Yeah.
Will you be in bed?
Never.
And then the challenge is like, close your eyes before the sun comes up. Just close your eyes
for a second.
It's insane. And then you have that. And then, and then the older you get, and then your next 2 days are fucking shot.
Of course. Yeah, no, it's gone.
And then, but the hardest part about that is the shame spiraling.
Yeah.
Because then instead of going like, okay, I fucked up. But you go like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of garbage. And you have to watch that because when you do that too much, then you start to behave like a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
There's a way to look at that and go, I'm not in control of this, which is last night I got a text from my buddy and I'm very proud of myself. My friend who I love very dearly, he runs I go like once a week, not very often.
Right.
But usually like maybe like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like if I don't have anything to do the next day, I'm like, I can wake up with a hangover. Which first of all, why would you ever plan to be like, I want to wake up and feel like I have the flu?
I think one of my favorite lines in Stephen King's On Writing, which is like a memoir / advice on writing book, is when he starts to describe his descent into alcoholism, he says things like, I mean, I took it easy that night. You don't want to be too hungover at your mother's deathbed. And I was like, yeah, no, I know that voice. Like,
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I was really proud of myself because I just have to be honest with myself. I'm like, look, because part of you goes, oh, I can go out and have a drink. And I went, and I had a really good day yesterday. It was I worked out, I got a massage, and then I went and I had one glass of wine. And I went and I was by myself, and I got texts from 2 different friends that like to party and like to fun. They're like, hey, what's good? Where are you? And I did not respond. And I took my sweet, thank you. I mean, I still had a glass of wine, but I took my sweet ass home.
Yep.
And even though I was agitated and it was hard to sleep, I was like, too bad. Too bad for you.
Yeah.
Because, look, it's hard for me to sleep. I'll get better sleep if I down a bottle of wine and do an 8-ball. Will you?
Right. Yeah. Will you?
That's not called falling asleep. That's called your brain shutting down because it's like, okay, you're not making a decision, so we got to shut something off. Because I feel like the next thing going down the hatch is not going to be water.
Because because addiction, I think, and this is something I said, we had breakfast the next morning and talked about what happened, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, look, I need you to take action steps, right? I don't need you to do AA, but I need you to do something, right? Like find a therapist that specializes in this, do something. And I need you to buttress your social support around sobriety. So I need you to find sober friends. I need you to find sober activities because I will break under the weight of this thing if it's just me. So I need you to take time and reach out to other people. And I was like, this is a disease that thrives on secrets and shame.
Yep.
So I'm not keeping any of this a fucking secret. So I told his friend, I told my neighbor, I'm talking about it on the podcast. I'm like, there's no part of your addiction or our behavior together or whatever that's a secret because that's just a place where this kind of shit thrives.
Yep.
So there's a real antidote. There's some real white magic or good magic in just keeping your social support network actually informed about what's going on in your life. You become harder to gaslight, harder to manipulate, and stronger in your convictions.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a great, and that's even and obviously on stage and we talk about it and joke about things on the podcast and whatever, but that's a big thing is you have to, even a little victory, not responding to a text from people that I got fucking was doing drugs with last week.
Yeah, that's a win.
Right. And it's not that because that's the thing is people go, you got to stop forever. You got to be, but if you go okay, but right now, let me make a good decision for me now.
Yeah. One day at a time works. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's with a diet too. It's about getting back, I think if you think that everything's thrown away because you had one glass of wine, it's easier to spiral into a bender. And then you really can lose everything. Yeah. I was like, this disease, it takes everything that you love away from you. Mm-hmm. That's what it does. It starts with your friends and it ends with your health and your reputation and your sense of self. It robs you of you. Yep. That's what that is. Mm-hmm. Anyway, speaking of degenerate alcoholics.
This is our new podcast.
We're talking about
the oldest liver transplant.
Yeah. But I love this bitch. Big Nose Kate is becoming a personal hero of mine the more I learn about her.
And you brought her up. You mentioned her in an earlier episode.
The one that we didn't release because it was a fucking mess before we knew what we were doing. The one that I tried to tell 3 stories at once.
Yes, this is the Old West lady.
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
Old West.
Yeah, I remember us talking about her, so I'm excited. Okay, get into this bitch because I know you love her.
Yeah, no, I love her. So she was born in Hungary in 1850. Mária Katalin Horony. It doesn't matter if I can pronounce it or not. We're going to call her Big Nose Kate moving forward.
Horony is her last name?
Horony.
Yeah, I like it.
I bet the oak tree didn't fall too far from the tree. Anyway, so her father, who's a doctor, immigrated to Iowa when she was 18, in 1860, when she was 10 years old. And then her father and mother immediately died, within the first 3 years. So she gets sent to foster care at 13. Doesn't like it there for reasons that I can. Who would have thunk, right? Huh. Immigrant from Hungary getting thrown into foster care at the age of 13, not having a grand old time. So she runs away at 13, gets on a riverboat. The captain finds her, but lets her ride all the way to St. Louis, where she becomes a working prostitute, an independent lady. In 1877, she meets Doc Holliday. Do you know who Doc Holliday is?
Yes.
Who
He was played by Val Kilmer
he's
in
a
a movie.
famous Old West character. Well, before this episode, I called my dad.
That's how I know all historic people, by the way. I'm like, I can tell you which modern day actor
played them in a movie.
Right, depicted them in a movie.
Yeah. So
Batman played him, right?
He's a famous gunslinger and gambler from the like Old West days, and sort of a mythic character. But my grandfather knew him, so I called my dad. Yeah, my grandfather was born in Oklahoma Territory in the late 1890s, served in World War I, and was a professional bootlegger and gambler. When he was an infant, he grew up next to Jesse Jones, and when he was like a tween, he met Doc Holliday. So I called my dad because I wanted to get like a good idea for this episode of like who I was talking about. Because there's Wikipedia stuff, and then there's like things that old people know,
right?
You know,
yeah.
So I called my dad, and I was like, "Who the fuck?"
Well, you got to be careful with that too, because a lot of times stuff that old people know is sprinkled with lots of racial slurs.
Yeah. No, real racist, but like all these people are white, so you know it's like safe to talk to my dad about it. And so I talked to him, and he describes Doc Holliday this way, and I want to capture the essence of it. He says, "Yeah, Doc Holliday was a dentist out back east, and then he got diagnosed with tuberculosis, and he decided that he was going to die on an adventure in the Old West, so he moved out west and decided that he would rather drink himself to death than cough himself to death, and proceeded to be just a drunken gambler, but he got really good with a gun, and the more his diseases progressed, meaning tuberculosis and alcoholism, the less tolerant he got. So like if you bumped into him without saying excuse me, or spilled a drink on him, or like cheated him at cards, he'd just kill you."
That's
who this guy was.
Cool.
Yeah. He just became an intolerant son of a bitch who knew he was going to die on a suicide mission, and he became a very wealthy man, like robbing carriages and running around being the baddest motherfucker there was within hundreds of miles.
Is that so interesting? And not to encourage everybody to quit their jobs and start drinking and gambling and shooting people.
Yeah.
But the thing in your brain that makes that a lot of people, they have that. Well, that's, I mean, Breaking Bad, obviously that's a fictional story.
Right.
But that's a similar thing where a lot of people, once they realize they're terminally ill, or
they have no more fucks to give.
Right. And here's the thing, everybody listening, again, not that we all just go become alcoholic gamblers and murderers, but we all one day are no longer going to be alive. So if there's something you would like to pursue, the two examples, and the other one is making meth. But a lot of people use it to do things like reconcile with their family members, go on vacation, go and but so that you can do it either way, huh? But that's really interesting.
I have a charm that lives in my house. I just grabbed it off the wall for Wendi, and it's just a little prayer, and it says, "Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in an attractive and well-preserved body."
Check. I've already accomplished not doing that.
But rather to skid in sideways, covered in chocolate in one hand and wine in the other, body thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and screaming, "Woo-hoo! What a ride!"
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this is, first of all, if anyone listening to this, the first 10 minutes were like, you guys, you got to stop drinking, clean up your life, get it together. We seriously, you're affecting.
You're
going to lose everything.
Hero alcoholic.
And they were like, here's this charm I have. What is it, a poem? No, it's just it's a vision board of me drunk trying to climb out of my own coffin. Looking terrible. Weighing 400 pounds.
This is what they mean by women send mixed signals. Bitches and witches be great.
See, so look, we're not being bossy. We're just giving, look at all these options. You have so many options in life.
Yeah. Infinite options. Well, anyway, Big Nose Kate and Doc Holliday became common law wife. They had common law husband and wife. Mm-hmm. They had a tumultuous, sometimes violent relationship over years. And as Doc Holliday descended into like alcoholism degeneracy, it was like once the drinking really took over, the gambling stopped working out as often.
Right.
Because it's, but although my grandfather apparently did say to my father, it didn't matter how drunk Doc Holliday got, he could still kill you. So that's good to know.
That's amazing.
Right?
See, that's what you need playing pool. That was the other problem too, as I was out the other night, and that's the problem with drinking too much. Last time I was out, boy, do I think I can. That's good aim. That's good focus. That's called a functioning alcoholic.
It's called muscle memory. Yeah, that's a functioning alcoholic. If you can still slit somebody's throat accurately in a blackout, you're fine.
Right. I mean, I can show up to work when I'm hungover and get my reports
who gives
done.
a shit?
Fuck out of here.
Find
I want
the
you.
spleen.
Yeah, I want you to come up out of a blackout. Exactly.
So anyway, they met in 1877. They had an on-again, off-again affair, and she nursed him into death. So she eased his. She was his nursemaid basically at the end of his life. So a couple of stories from their relationship. One day, because they had a tumultuous relationship, right? They were both strong-willed, colorful characters in the Old West.
Right.
They apparently had a knockdown, drag-out, and got into a fight. And the local sheriff tried to use that situation to his advantage, where he got Big Nose Kate blackout drunk, and then had her sign an affidavit that Doc Holliday committed a murder he didn't commit. He killed boatloads of people.
Yeah.
But not this specific guy.
Yeah.
And so when so they arrested Doc, but he had an alibi.
Okay.
And then when Big Nose Kate sobered up, she told she was like, nah, these guys got me drunk and forced me to sign this thing I didn't understand. And the judge threw it out and they got away with it. Second great story.
Cool.
Yeah, cool, badass bitch. Second great story, Doc Holliday was in jail for a murder he did commit. So Big Nose Kate set fire to one of the local hotels as a distraction, because it's just a big wooden city in the desert. So, fires are a big fucking deal.
Right.
So everyone ran away from the jail to go deal with the fire, leaving just one wimpy guard. And so Kate stole 2 horses, bullied the guard into letting Doc go, and they just rode off and had another fucking 30 years together or some shit.
That's crazy.
Right? Isn't that nuts?
Now here's what's insane. So he lived, and I know it's about Big Nose Kate, but so now was she actively working?
Yeah, she was a prostitute the whole time.
Okay,
and
so she was actively working as a sex worker.
Yeah, she was actively working as a sex worker. So she'd work upstairs while he was gambling downstairs.
Okay.
And then in his old age, when he started losing more than he won at the table, she supported them both as a whore.
Okay, so they were together. He lived for how many years? 30?
He died
with tuberculosis? Sorry,
yeah,
Mary,
he died.
I'm crinkling my. This is my.
He died in 1887. So they were only together for 10 years. And then after that, Kate married this Irish blacksmith, George Cummings, in 1890. But he turned out to be an abusive alcoholic because she has a type. And so then she lived alone until she died days before her 90th birthday in 1915. But she was a rabble rouser until her last fucking breath. I want to talk about where and how she died.
Talk about how she died. We'll do that because what I want to get into, what I find interesting, and that this is not always the case, but this is something you and I have talked about, and I haven't been in this situation since I started doing sugaring, but what I find interesting is sex workers of any gender sometimes, not always, gravitate towards in a non-paid.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about how she died, because I would like to get into the.
Yeah, sure. So,
because I think that I want to dig into that a little bit about the abusive thing, because that seems to be a pattern, right?
So in 1931, Kate contacted her friend, who was the Arizona governor, George Hunt, and she applied to be the first female resident at the Arizona Pioneers Home in Prescott, Arizona. And the home was established for basically alien miners and pioneers. And it took her 6 months to be admitted, but she broke the gender divide, became a woman in a male space, which is a thing that she'd grown comfortable with her whole fucking life. Right. And then spent the rest of her days as an outspoken resident shaming the state of Arizona and assisting other residents with these angry, no bullshit letter campaigns. And when she didn't get the response she wanted, she bothered the governor. So she was just
good.
So she was making miners' lives better.
Right.
Years after she stopped being a sex worker, advocate the bedpans aren't sufficient, the sheets are too rough, we're not getting enough food. You fucks, we built this state. I mean, so. Yeah, she was just a badass.
That's such a cool thing. Now, here's what I find so interesting, and I know you and I can identify with you more strongly than I think. And listeners, please email us. Let us know what you think, because I know this is a common thread.
Yeah.
not even so forget sex work for a second. A lot of times when you have women or men, people who are really dominant in their personal and private lives, they like to be dominated sexually or in a relationship, right? That's the general BDSM thing.
Yeah, sure.
And especially a chick like with Big Nose Kate, who even afterwards, so it's not like she was this pushover.
No, she was a strong-willed woman. She gave Doc Holliday, they met each other on an equal playing field, even though he could kill her at any moment.
Right. And then the fact that, but what then drives some women to want to like be with and or try and support or try and change, like abusive, a lot of times there's alcohol involved, like abusive alcoholic men.
I love alcoholics to the point where it's almost a fetish. Like, so I feel like I share this personality trait.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that sometimes I think we fall in love with our own powers, and like we fancy ourselves like healers or fixers, or like if we just love somebody enough, we can change them kind of stuff. So there's a narcissism in our own power,
which makes sense. But because we were talking about earlier in the episode, like with the sex work thing, where we're like, oh, it's witchcraft, and we can make, and people give us money and presents and gifts just for us being our cute selves for an hour or two.
Energy is very powerful,
and so we're like, we can do anything we want. Give me a challenge.
Yeah, give me a challenge, right? Like, so like normal, well-adjusted dudes are just like not interesting enough,
right? And so especially for someone like you and other sex workers, like to us, that seems okay. That completely makes sense. Okay, go on. So you're like,
so
all right.
There's a little bit of that there. I'm not necessarily sure that was what was going on with Kate. Although, like, I couldn't imagine her with like just a regular dentist. You know what I mean? So like, I think there's like an underworld characteristic shared there. Like, we're both kind of existing in this like outside the rules space. So like, I think like comedy attracts a lot of these types, right? Like just people on the edge, whatever it is, whether it's the edge of substance abuse, the edge of mental illness, the edge of society, the edge of ideas, edge people,
right?
I think flock together. And I think there's also like just a fundamental naivete about like wanting you train yourself as a sex worker often to see the best in people, and we don't sniff out the predator in people until it's sometimes too late. Yeah which is weird because we're on guard for predatory shit in our clients, right? And then in the rest of the world, it's a little bit easy for us to let our guard down. Like I'll just DM my address to anyone that asks for it. Sometimes I get a severed bed.
Yeah, that's a little scary. Jesus, I know. My God.
It's fine. Probably.
Well, I had something where...
it's probably fine.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not. Is there a lock on this door? Jesus Christ. That's all we're doing. We're just constantly locking doors. We just moved from apartment to apartment. That's why we're changing locations so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're back in my apartment.
You're like, my boyfriend got in a fight. And I'm like, we're not even in your apartment. We're in another place. I got in a fight with my
I found
Airbnb
a safe house. The CIA gave it to me.
Yeah, we're recording in a bunker, and I need you to wear this mask. We're taking a van. You have to put a hood over your face because Kaytlin just gives out the and I'm also giving cars to people, and we're giving phone numbers out.
Are you Oprah now?
But it was a lady.
Oh,
I got Karen to write on her birthday. That was really fun.
Fucking Karen.
Speaking of fucking alcohol.
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't want to put anybody on blast, and we're not trying. Whatever. Like speaking of alcohol, Karen's a mess. I'm joking.
Amazing.
Karen, we love you.
Karen's friend is a nightmare. And that was one of those. It's so easy to see the predator in other people's lives.
Yes.
Right? So, like, I'm sure listeners of the podcast are like, bring up with that guy. I'm like, I'm make my own fucking choices. But Karen,
right?
This guy is it's a friend of hers, and she was gonna stay with him, and like they were just friends, and she made it real fucking clear that they were gonna stay just friends, and then he got drunk enough to be an asshole about the fact that they weren't fucking, and so I ended up putting her up in my fucking place, and because I'm like, and she's like, I brought a sleeping bag, I couldn't be clearer, and I wanted to like grab her by the shoulders and shake her and be like, it's not your fault, he was willfully not listening to you because he's a fucking asshole. Like, it's not.
Well, and you can see that, and I don't want to. He might be a very nice person, and he was going through something rough, and he was drinking a lot. But it's like,
who gives fuck this guy?
But you look at, like we could see that from a mile away.
Yeah.
From
Yes.
But when you're in that situation, you're like, well, I guess
it's complicated. You don't understand. He's on new medication. His mom was mean. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah. I had a guy one time choke me out. And this is before I ever got it. It's
Consensual, not consensual.
non-consensual.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. It was because I left the water running while I was brushing my teeth and I was not using it. And he was an
that's just a committed environmentalist.
That's exactly what he was. He was like, you don't care about the environment. And I was like, what? And he like shut the sink off and he goes, I fucking told you. And he grabbed me by my throat and held me up against the wall.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, but he was married and he never told me the truth. And he was really freaked out that I was going to find out he was married. Like, I thought he was going to murder me. I thought he was going to physically kill me.
Yeah, there's a really clear correlation specifically with strangulation and murder. So like
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So in a domestic violence situation, strangulation is usually the step before murder. That's why it's like, so like people will beat or throw or like threaten to kill your dog or like be a nightmare, punch holes through walls or like other kinds of violent activity. But studies have suggested over and over again that like if you're willing to strangle something, think about how intimate that is. Think about how personal and like you're making eye contact with somebody while they're struggling to breathe. Right. That like, so if anyone ever strangles you,
look, now that got me a little bit horny.
Well, right. So like your instincts of like this guy could kill me are correct. You gotta listen to your inner your body knows things that your rational mind won't or can't know or won't let yourself know. Right. Listen to your body.
Yeah, and you just got to pick up on those things and those cues are so. Well, I thought that was gonna happen today, but instead I got I for reals today when I got those flowers delivered, I heard the buzz and then was like delivery for Wendi, and I'm like,
I'm gonna get murdered.
Oh, that was my first thought. He was like, it's delivered, and I'm like. It's Valentine's Day, so most people are. That's when we're recording this, so we're from the past, and you're listening to us in the future.
You guys are already over it.
Time is not even real, so who gives a shit? But no, for reals was like, this is a gun. Someone's coming up here with a weapon, and I'm gonna be murdered. And then it was flowers, and I was like, oh, silly whore,
silly me,
you silly hooker.
Yeah,
I know.
And you're drinking brown water. What did you put in this water?
This is tea.
Oh, okay.
It's my own urine. It's my diet plan. And I went to set the water down quietly and I crunched it right on the paper.
Yeah, is people that drink their own urine, is that for the nutrients in their urine or are they just trying to throw up for the rest of the day? Like, what is the strategy there?
Well, we are about to find out, sister. Okay. Give me 30 minutes.
Let me know.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with the, the vacation thing is so strange. Like, I'm excited. Mm-hmm. But it's very interesting. It's a very weird now.
I'm fascinated by what it's bringing up in you. That like panic attack and that anxiety. I think it's really revealing to you that maybe yourself
that I need to lose 10 pounds.
No. I think you're, especially as like we're both pursuing this like fame thing, right? I think in order to get ahead of the self-sabotaging instinct, you have to really accept that you're exceptional and worthy of like, because it's like, so it's this vacation is one manifestation of that, but like financial success in the arts is another manifestation of that. And if you don't think that you're fundamentally worthy, it will never come.
Right. My yogi tea, this is tea, by the way, is what this is. So my yogi tea message today was, if you let yourself be successful, or if you allow yourself to be successful, you shall be successful. Yes. That was in my yogi tea today.
Well, then there you go. We are on theme. Absolutely.
I know. Yeah, we're on. No, here's something interesting. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to like talk about.
I mean, I always want to talk about New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, about the thing. So let me.
All right.
Oh God, I said his name. It's fine.
We'll edit that out.
You
Mary,
know what?
you're
It's
on
such a
top of
common
it.
name. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
It's a common
We
name.
can call him John or Bill or Joe.
I mean, I made up that fake name, and that's a fake name.
Brian. It's
yeah. Stephanie, the man that bought me this bracelet. Good old Steph. Yeah, pretend it's Steph Curry. That'll make me look good. Here's something. Now I have not. He knows kind of. Because like I've alluded to, like the gym membership thing and the
so
Uber
this is
thing.
the guy taking you on vacation.
Yeah.
So this guy gives no fucks about that. Is my gut feeling on that.
Now he's older. He's 69.
Great
he's
age.
only got me the bracelet. Yeah, I know. I read this I'm like, he's 69, which is ironic because he can't. See, I didn't think it was that funny. I said it to one person. It's very dumb, but I did it all my shows this weekend.
Great.
It's so silly.
It's really good.
Thank you.
I think it's very charming.
I'm going to do it tonight. Actually, no.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. I'm going to do that at the show Thursday. So if you come to the show, this is already.
This is going to be out.
It happened. The show was great.
The show is great. Look for us at the Soho Playhouse. We're going to start a monthly there.
Yeah.
Soho Playhouse used to be a speakeasy and a cat house.
Right.
And by cat house, we mean brothel. They never sold cats there.
Right. was like, I live in a cat house now. I got 2 cats in my apartment. I'm breaking up fights.
Meh. All right. Anyway,
so I got to figure out how, if I'm going to bring it up to him at all, because I know he's actively dating a couple other chicks.
Okay.
Obviously, like, I'm the coolest one because I'm like going on vacation and shit.
Yeah, you won,
bro. But I don't know. At some point, I'm going to bring this up to him, and I don't want to bring it up in a manipulative way, but I don't know how else it's going to sound where I'll be like, because if at some point he's like, I only want to see you. If we're like, okay, now we are monogamous, I'll be like, cool, I'm seeing 2 other people.
For money, here's what that's going to cost to replace.
Right.
So, yeah. I hear that.
Should I just say it into his ear that doesn't work, into his bad ear?
Yeah, I would say whispering into the bad ear is a great way to have told him without telling him. That's always a win. I would say 2 things. One, he might already know, like, because
the fucking internet.
Yeah, the whole internet, right? Like, so neither of us are hiding that element of ourselves one iota. Yeah. I would also say, like, it along those lines, you don't want to make a big deal about telling him because you might make it a bigger deal than it is by making it a big deal.
Right.
But I think that being pretty straightforward of like, yeah, you see what comedy pays. This is my solution to that problem. I'm not going to let you make me feel bad about it. I love spending time with you, but I think it's unreasonable to ask me to replace my primary source of income to soothe your ego. So like we can talk about that, or we cannot, but like I'm not going to be totally dependent on you. That makes me anxious for reasons that make all the sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it. That was kind of my plan. And that's, I think, the way to do it. Because he hasn't brought up, like, I'm very open with him when he's like, oh, Friday. And I'm like, well, my only free night is Friday. He goes, oh, I can't Friday. And part of me, I can feel myself get really jealous and insecure where I'm like, oh my God,
what are you doing Friday?
Because I know he's with some other chick. I know he's going on a date with someone else.
Yeah, I think it's probably fine. I think he's a 69-year-old man and he's seen more than you think he has. And he probably gives way fewer fucks. I mean, it is the oldest profession. Like badass bitches have been doing this for the dawn of time. Right. Like I don't think Doc Holliday and Big Nose Kate had a lot of fights about her work. You know what I mean? Like I think they just accepted it about each other. Yeah. And I think that this is probably that kind of situation. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I know. That makes it... I'm like excited. I'm so excited for this vacation. I'm going to stop eating this cookie right now.
Oh, I'll have the rest of it. Fuck it.
I know. God, my eyes are fucking... I think I'm allergic to cats. I got 2 cats.
Are you gonna? You got to kill one of them then, right?
I know. I almost killed my cat yesterday. I just can't deal with it. In between, like, my roommate and I, like, trying to act like we're both not clinically depressed when we see each other. It's just like... That's essentially... We just have to be like, no. I'm not sad either. No, I'm also not sad. This is part of... This is how I can tell I'm in a good mood is because I wear the same sweatshirt for 4 days in a row and I eat toast every 30 minutes. This bitch is always making toast.
Toast is great.
And then she to me, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. I was like, I'll pack my gym bag. I'm going to go to the gym and go to a show. And she's like, oh, you're like inspiring me. And I was like, oh God, I should not be inspiring anybody.
Aim high.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, when I said I was writing, I've been just sleeping.
I've been reframing my depressive episodes as times to gather my strength by staying in bed for 14 hours in a row. Is that not?
No, that's what you do. Well, before a big race, that's what you do in swim team.
Yeah.
You work out, you work really
hard.
Carb
load and you sleep.
Yeah. We're athletes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're emotional athletes.
I'm
like
sorry.
The new bowling.
Yes. Dude. That's so fucking perfect. That's so fucking hilarious.
Just carb loading and not getting out of bed because we have an emotional race coming up. It's you versus the narcissistic emotional vampire you've partnered with for no reason. Oh,
I gotta go back to my parents' house for the holidays. For the next 2 weeks, I'll be in bed eating,
preparing for that marathon,
just eating bagged dinner rolls
of emotional labor.
Oh, Jesus. Holy Christ. That's amazing.
Great. Hey, you want to talk about New Orleans?
Fuck yeah. What's going on?
Well, there are 2 things happening. So we talked about the raids that happened on Bourbon Street right before Mardi Gras last episode.
Yes.
Right? So that fight is still being fought, but it's been brought to my attention. Melissa Garrett-Grant did another great article. She's a fantastic writer, by the way. If you're interested in sex worker rights or like sex worker or anything, Melissa Garrett-Grant's book, Playing the Whore, is a fantastic place to start, as is most articles she's written. But she talked about there are 3 a couple of years ago, this fucking dumb cuck, some like Christian right lawyer who's been pimping himself out to different states to get laws passed that target the sex industry, passed a law in New Orleans outlawing girls aged 18, 19, and 20 from being able to work at strip clubs. So you have to be 21 and over to work in a strip club. And I'm like, nah, 18, 19, and 20 are the real money years. That's just a mean thing to do to women. And so these 3 defendants aged, I think 2 19-year-olds and a 20-year-old are suing the state for taking away their constitutional rights because, like, one of them's a mom. The other one is the full-time caretaker for her mom who has cancer. And they're like, we can't work an $7 an hour job and still be parents and caretakers and members of our community. You can't take this lucrative job away from us. And the whole premise is that they're trying to prevent trafficking. And these women are like, you are making us more vulnerable to traffickers by taking away a legal and safe place for us to work.
Right.
So it's a fascinating case. Melissa Gear Grant wrote a great article about it. And that's something that's happening in New Orleans that you should keep your eye on.
Is there anything, are there like links there that we can, as far as like promote it? Like, I mean, to help them out? Are there
absolutely.
legal funds? What are their...
We'll retweet. They're staying anonymous for now.
Yeah.
But I think...
Oh, they're not giving out their address?
Yeah, no, they're not giving their address out. They don't want severed bat heads in the mail.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdos.
Just like, they're like, we don't have fun. Just send garlic. Send garlic and bat heads.
Sorry. Fucking nightmare. So yeah, they're it's happening. We'll tweet out the link to the article from our Twitter page, and we'll provide links to it as soon as we get. We're working on a blog. I don't know if I told you about this, but we are.
You did not, but hey, look at that.
We're working on a blog so that we all the information that we cover in every episode for just the historical figures is available. We'll link to our sources and also like news that's coming up, because if you don't listen to the whole episode and take notes, then there's this information is not condensed anywhere. So we're working on that. But it's probably going to take us a while to get on top of it.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll work on that. And also, hey, this is going to be coming out in time. So if you're in Seattle, we're going to be, Kaytlin and I are going to the SAS conference in Seattle.
That's happening in Seattle. That's going to be very exciting.
And apparently,
March 1st through the 4th.
Yeah, March 1st through the 4th. Kaytlin, I'm going to be there the 1st and the 2nd, I believe. I was looking at that. And when Kaytlin and I are there together, I don't really know what's happening, but we'll force a stand-up show, so come.
Yes, we will force a stand-up show.
I'll just start one.
We'll just do it.
I'll just say I'm doing comedy.
And we will be recording an episode. We're going to reach out to somebody at the conference. We haven't figured that out yet, but we'll be recording an episode out there with a guest, which is very exciting.
Yeah. So come to that, and we'll have links as we get that information. We'll put it out. So make sure you're following us on social media.
Yeah. Which is at Old Pro Podcast.
Yep, and that's on Twitter and Instagram. Our website, theoldestprofessionpodcast.com. Email us, theoldestprofessionpodcast@gmail.com.
We love your emails. Even if you can email us research you're doing. If there's an old pro that you want us to talk about, you can email us your story. We love hearing that. You can email us thoughts that we love your emails. They make us it gives us a reason to keep doing this.
Yeah, it's the best. And then you can follow me on social media at Wendi Starling. That's Twitter, at WendyBird82 on Instagram.
And if you're one of our patron supporters, then you can hear Wendi and I do impressions of each other as we read exchanges with clients.
Yes, we're gonna do. Yeah, we're getting into that.
We're excited.
That's gonna be really fun too. Yeah. We're trying to find like fun things to do on Patreon, and so we'll.
Yeah, and you can email us your suggestions for it if you're a patron supporter, or if you're not, just email us what you want. What it would take to make you a patron supporter.
Yeah, and if you want to send, like, if you are a patron supporter, you can send us even transcriptions of communications between yourself and a John, or if you're a John yourself and
we will do a dramatic reading of that.
Yes. The more obnoxious the dude, the better.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Where can we find you?
Oh, that's right. I'm also on Twitter at Kaytlin Bailey. My parents spelled my name weird. It is Kaytlin Bailey, Bailey. And what about you, Wendi?
I already did mine.
Oh, that's right. You already did yours. I'm a bad listener.
Now, see, look, it's Valentine's Day. We're back and forth between starving ourselves and being sugared up, and we're gonna record for
3 more hours.
We got more to go, so we're starting out of the gate nice and weak. But see, now the carbs are going to kick in. All the depression rest we've had is going to kick in.
All the depression rest. Yeah, we're ready for this marathon.
Yeah, so when you tune into the next episode, we're going to be sharp.
on fire. And thank you so much for listening. This has been
The Oldest Profession.
This episode is sponsored by Velvet Swing, which is a cannabis-enhanced lube that is very nice.
Ooh.
You should follow the founder. This is a whore-owned and operated business.
Okay.
Mistress Matisse on Twitter. So buying this product supports not just your own sex life, but also the sex worker rights movement. Mistress Matisse is a big deal.
Thank you, Mistress.
Yes, you can follow Mistress Matisse at Mistress, M-I-S-T-R-E-S-S, Matisse, M-A-T-I-S-S-E.
Yeah, you know why I feel so good? Because while you were in the kitchen about 10 minutes ago before we recorded this, I took the cannabis lube and I jammed it in my butthole. I'll tell you, not the thing.
How do you feel?
Amazing.
Right? You feel relaxed?
I feel my butthole feels great.
Your butthole feels
Oh my
relaxed?
God, I didn't even think about this. This would be great for anal.
Of course. Yeah, you can't overestimate the importance of a relaxed butthole.
I love anal already. I'm going to be squirting all over the wall if I put some... Okay, now I do want to wrap this because I want to go get fucked.
Velvet Swing, so you can get high while getting down.